Hello everyone, John Trigger 12 back again with another video. Now today, once again, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z. Yes, today I'm discussing Dragon Ball Z live action films. Obviously, if you're aware of my channel, but if you're finding me for the first time, amongst all the segments that I do and videos that I do and reviews that I do, one of the biggest ones is obviously Dragon Ball Z discussions, which is something I like to call it. And basically, I discuss my personal thoughts on specific DBZ or Dragon Ball topics, and one of the biggest ones that I discuss is live action films. And basically, I've gotten a lot of heat for it. I would say over the last month or so. Some people agree. A lot of people agree with me. A lot of people have subscribed to my channel because of it, which is really cool. But there's a lot of people out, a lot of YouTubers out there that I guess don't find my opinions valid and like to criticize me for it. So, and that's all fun and games. But I really was at odds of making a new video because, not because of that, but because in general, I think it's kind of run its course. Like as much as a fan, I want to see 20th Century Fox or some company like make a live action DBZ movie work. And like I'm just saying, like by the time I'm dead, I just want to see a DBZ movie done the way it should be and the way I would want it to be presented towards me. And it hasn't happened, so obviously I've been making YouTube videos discussing my thoughts on that. But overall, like another reason as to why I didn't really want to make a new video is because just in general, I don't know, I kind of feel awkward like just minutes on end, just putting out like content of like my like personal opinions and my visuals of like how I would do it just out there for free for you guys, because not that I'm being like, oh well, my ideas are gold. It's not that. It's just I personally think that, I don't know, like it inside in the back of my head, it's still like my childhood dream to like one day direct a live action DBZ film, and I kind of feel disappointed if that chance is missed and everything that I suggested out there onto the powers of the internet one day reaches someone and then he uses it and then I'm fucked. Of course that's very unlikely, any of that, but it's just one of those things that I think about. But nonetheless, I got a message not so long ago, like a good week or so ago, from one of my newer subscribers, Chris, and he essentially gave me like a humongous, like just paragraph by paragraph thoughts of support and basically like ideas for DBZ videos, because like he likes my live action DBZ videos, so he decided just to give me ideas for some of them. And he was just going back and forth of like his personal thoughts and like what should happen. Like there should be like a DBZ trilogy, and who should direct, and like what story arc should be adapted. And he was just going back and forth from there. And essentially I decided, you know what, just for the fuck of it, I'll just make a new video and addressing some of the ideas and thoughts that he had, and some of mine based off his. First off, director specifically. He decided that he would go for a J.J. Abrams type of director to make a DBZ live action film. My personal thoughts, like, if as a fan and as a movie watcher, who would I want to visually direct and be in charge of the entire production? I don't really know if I would actually go with J.J. Abrams. Like, as much as I respect him as a filmmaker, I don't really see him as an anime guy. Like, he's exactly what he is. He's a science fiction guy. That's what he does, And even though DBZ and an anime, science fiction gets touched here and there, anime is a complete polar opposite from science fiction. So even though they're kind of in the same ballpark, they're definitely two different fucking animals. So I don't know if I would go with J.J. Abrams. I mean, like, he did a good job with Star Trek, and I'm sure he's gonna do a good job with Star Wars, but I don't know if I would have him do anime. Maybe with the production teams that he works with, because obviously J.J. Abrams has his team, Bad Robot, and obviously he works a lot with the visual company, ILM. So, like if they were working, like their production teams were working on a DBZ live action film, I would be all for that. Money down on the table right there. Fuck it. If they were working on it and they were designing the effects, I would be fully down to see it. That's my personal opinion. Um, as for story arcs and if we're working based off a trilogy, I don't really know. A lot of people I've discussed starting right off the bat in the Saiyan saga. That was my standing point. If I was the filmmaker in charge, or writer, I would definitely start at the Saiyan saga. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, a lot of you don't like that opinion based off the comments I've been getting. But essentially, that's just my personal opinion. I don't really know why it's such a big deal. I mean, I personally think that working straightly from the beginning of the Saiyan saga down the line, you have lots of room of originality to work on. There's a lot of source material to adapt. There's obviously a lot of room for creating your own image, and obviously there's a lot of great story arcs. Not that there isn't any in Dragon Ball. It's just that when you're going from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, they're complete polar opposites of each other. And even though I love it as a whole, I'm just more of a DBZ fan. I gotta be honest. I grew up on this shit, so I have to go for it. But if I was the filmmaker in charge, I have to go on Saiyan Saga. I have to start it off from there because this. I believe the story of Goku doesn't kick off until that point. But just for the sake of the argument, if we were going to start from the Dragon Ball series, obviously do not do anything Dragon Ball Evolution did. Chris mentioned Dragon Ball Evolution and discussed the big issues that they had. He was discussing the problems and the big issues with Dragon Ball Evolution, and I agree with the majority of what he said, but my problem with Dragon Ball Evolution is that the biggest issue is the story arcs that they chose. Obviously, if you watch Dragon Ball Evolution, which I'm sure a lot of you have problems doing just in general, if you go back and watch it, they do have a story. You know, there is a story. It's just, you know, polluted with all their bullshit. You know, so obviously it's hard to watch. But the overall story arcs that they went off was the beginning, which is obviously the journey. You know, Goku meets Bulma, and then they just go from there. They searching for the Dragon Balls. You know, they meet up with characters like Yamcha and Oolong and Master Roshi, and you know they start off with Goku's training, and you know it just skyrockets from there. But they fused that story arc with the King Piccolo story arc, and essentially that's how they made their fucking movie. But I don't know. If you're gonna, let's say that we were just gonna start off on Dragon Ball and be like, you know what? Let's just do a reboot of Dragon Ball Evolution and let's just make a Dragon Ball movie, a true Dragon Ball movie, true to the source material. And you're gonna start from the beginning of the story. I have no problems with that. There's nothing, you know, there's nothing that I have a big issue towards. It's just I personally believe that you should start at the Saiyan Saga because, regardless of what anybody says, if you're a Dragon Ball Z watcher and you watch Dragon Ball for the first time, essentially all of Dragon Ball is an origin story. You know, Dragon Ball is the origin story. You know, so if you're gonna start in the Saiyan Saga, there's plenty of room in like the first movie to introduce segments and flashback sequences of those specific storylines from Dragon Ball. You know, like Goku meeting Bulma, Goku's hardship, you know, Goku's training and becoming the character that he eventually becomes in the Saiyan Saga. You know, all different types of story arcs. You can just film that. You can show it. It's just that you could just show it in a specific time, you know, and there's not really a big point. And plus, you do the big problems that they did in DB Evolution, which is just combine two chunks of the storyline and put them together, which is just crap and stupid and a waste of time. But because there's so much, room and ground to cover in Dragon Ball, all you're gonna do is just wasting years and years and years trying to convince an American audience that a child with a ridiculous haircut and a tail and a pole that extends can do these amazing things and flies on a cloud. There's a lot of work that has to go into to make that a reality. So I don't know. I personally think like if you're gonna go straight into DBZ territory, you already have, the big audience that grew up on the shit. You have, comic book fans who are already into the shit. You have your X-Men's, you have your Man of Steel's, your Batman's. You have these people who want to grow up and become a Goku. It's kind of a waste of time if you start off him as a child. Not that it's a big deal. You could if you want to, but then you just become Avatar. And that's just my personal opinion. If I had to, if I was going to work on a trilogy, let's put it this way. The first volume of Dragon Ball Z, right there, that's the first movie. The second movie is Goku versus Vegeta. That's the sequel. The third one would be The Journey Towards Namek. That would be the trilogy right there for me. If I was going to do a series of films working on this, obviously those 3 films. Continuing off of that, you go to Goku versus Frieza. Because obviously there's a lot of room to cover in the Namek and Frieza saga. You could just make 2 films based off of that. So that's my personal opinion. And I personally think that there's a lot of ways to go off from the Frieza saga. You can go 2 completely different ways. You can kill off Goku, which would be a good story and original story standpoint, in my personal opinion. You kill off Goku, and you move off and have Gohan be the main hero. Based off of everything we've seen in the previous films, he becomes the hero that he watched his father become. Or you could just do what they did in the manga and just fake Goku's death and then have him come back in the Trunks saga in the future films. You could do that as well. But, these are just ideas if I was going to do it. Obviously, anybody can, come up with their own ideas, but that's just, at this standpoint, if I had to be very, forward and be very minimal with my words, I would just do that. Just as a standpoint, that's what I would do. But essentially, there's a lot of room to cover, and obviously, not everybody's gonna live long enough to see every single Dragon Ball story arc that they want to see. But if I'm gonna die tomorrow, I want to die happy knowing that I got to see Goku versus Vegeta in a live action format, but done amazing and in a fucking worldwide scale. That's what I want to fucking see, and obviously I've been making these videos and a lot of people like them, but a lot of people don't. But I do appreciate everyone who enjoys my videos, and I definitely will be doing more videos like this based off the ideas and support from my fellow subscribers like Chris. I definitely hope I got something that you were kind of asking for, man. I definitely will be making more videos based off what you were talking about, because obviously I do have a time limit, so there's a lot of things I want to say, but a lot of time that I don't have. So obviously I might make another video, but we'll just have to see. But I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts, but this is very subjective. It's my personal opinion. What are your personal opinions? Obviously, if you're here to criticize me and give me shit, then I'm just going to say fuck off. But if you enjoyed and just want to have a fun little debate about things, go for it. Sure, let's just talk. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and definitely check out all the other live action DBZ discussions that I had, and I hope you enjoyed.